So we are having a few issues with our heater control valve, which amazingly does just about line up. We have to move some wiring a little bit, but that's fine. But the issue we've got is it won't actually move up and down smoothly on the controls. And once I'm out of here, you know, once this is all in and there's intake and other pipe work here, we are never getting back in there again. So I came up with that idea because I initially had just the wire kinked, and that didn't work very well. And then I made that little clamp, and it's still not working very well. And ultimately, where the wire goes in, that really needs to spin, and it doesn't. I originally imagined on the taxis there's something that goes on there that spins. So, Mark III, we've TIG welded ourselves an M6 bolt on an M6 internal threaded stainless piece. I'll then just ensure we re-tap some of these threads here, cut this shorter, cut that neat, and hopefully then, as you can see, the little 2mm hole in the middle, that's where the wire will go through, clamp the wire, and then this can rotate on that pin. If that didn't make any sense, I'll show you now in about one split second. And there we have it. See if we can just sit you in there somehow. Now, hopefully demonstrate it working. So this is off right now, so this will bypass the matrix and just run the coolant through the oil sort of heater transfer cooler on the oil filter, and then that comes across. And now it's on. Now the water's going through the matrix, heating inside the car. And it's a bit hot, so we just push it back and it goes the other way. Now the only issue I've got concern over is about this point there, which might mean we have to run it without a pipe at the top, which, you know, it isn't ideal. I've got to admit that we've got two options. I might just flick that round to the bottom. That would actually just fix that issue straight away, or shave the top down. Probably just flick it over to the bottom point. That might just be a better idea. So you don't realise these things sometimes until you video them in front of everyone. Off, on, off, on, off. We've kind of got to get all of that sorted. And basically all the contents of this box need to go in this there. Lambda sensors, bolts, brackets, pipe work, master cylinder, you know, basics like brakes and fuel. Because once you've got fuel and brakes, you don't need anything else. You don't really need brakes, to be honest. Fuel is a definite. So let's, contents there. Well, that's a good start. That seems fine. Yep, and then if you just put that there somewhere, and there, I mean the water will, that seems done. Right, next, quick shakedown on what we've accomplished. Downpipe is bolted in, finished. Lambda's bolted in, not plugged in yet. Matrix pipes, heater pipes, and gear cables are all in and connected and clipped up. Clutch is done. Brake master cylinders are done, and is connected, and is connected. And our main cable coming from the battery loops down, goes to our alternator. We have yet to put in the little connection up here for our two positives. So that's where we're going to leave it for now. Okay, if not already mentioned, windows are fitted, which is awesome. So next stage, we're going to get the vehicle up in the air on 4 stands, wheels all free, so that we can get the exhaust system on, and then we can get the gear linkages sorted, the wiring finished for the engine, as in all plugged in, because it needs all the sensors to start. Exhaust housing just clocked and just pinched on for now, if nothing else. ECU fitted. Then we'll see if it starts, and if it does start, we talk about finishing the drive shafts off and the speed sensor, get the dampers on, fit the brakes, bleed the clutch, and get it running and driving. And then, if that's all okay, then we'll move on to fitting the cooling system, and then see if it runs and drives around the driveway. So, let's do those things that I just said I need to do. lacking there. Floop, 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 floop. Ah, well that's better. Out of focus goodness. Into focus goodness. Right, next thing is I've got none of those levers that go so I need to add some levers. Right. Good. So the lever is fitted. Perfect. Feeling the need for a box of bleep bloops around here. Well, that seems better. Don't leak, 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 please don't leak, don't leak, don't leak, don't leak, please don't leak. It won't leak, it wouldn't there. Seems to be something missing there too. Right, that's better. I guess we should do some final checks, get the battery connected and see what happens. Okay, so principal issue, it won't start, it won't even crank. We got, I don't believe it's like a immobilizer issue because the fuel pump primes and that doesn't happen. It's a mobilizer from memory, but it does, that's good. Two issues. One, the throttle body. I had the blade out, can't remember why, it just will not synchronise and reset. Done something wrong there. Plus we're missing now 5 of the 6 screws, so 20 quid, got another one on the way. Hopefully that'll sort one problem. The second problem, this switch, which is one of the 3 clutch switches that all have to synchronise. So it's happy you got the clutch down. Why? Why, Ford? So instead, I'm going to go for one of these little momentary switches. It's a simple switch, you just push on, it makes contact between the 2 pins. So we'll put a couple of tails on there. We'll put a little 2-pin plug on it, and then we can unplug it and plug it in. And then in here, where there's absolutely zero room, down there, that's where the switch goes. And the pedal swings round, which I'm going to try and show you, and you'll see a little kind of bolt come round. There we go. And that needs to press on the switch. So an hour later, this is what we have. Little tail with a plug ready for the other end. A bracket which fits in place of the old switch. And then a little M4 thread through the aluminium and bolt to go bolt on underneath. If I need to adjust, well, there's a little bit of movement in the hole, but it shouldn't adjust, and I'm actually worried if I add adjustment, it'll cause me problems, but let's go and test it, and then wire in the other end to the main loom. Starts, idles. I don't know why. Did loads of testing, everything checked out, randomly just turned the key to SIP start, and it did. I fixed nothing, it's fixed. Seems quite French in that way. Throttle body still isn't right. I've fitted a new one, a replacement one, with warranty, and actually appeared to be worse than that one. Doesn't do anything. This at least does something. So still got problems there, but what we're going to do is there's so many missing sensors, and we need airflow, etc. So I'm just going to keep fitting parts, and assume that that will fix the problem, because, well, yeah, fitting more parts fixes problems. So where are we at? Well, if we connect a battery, I don't like the idea of these batteries in the boot, not when the fuel tank's right there. Where we're at is, I think it runs. I believe it runs. Ignition, fuel pump, clutch down, even though it doesn't do anything other than press some sensors, and she runs. So, we desperately need to get this tidied up now. fix on the cap on this because it's only got one bolt on it. So that's probably the first thing, the most time-consuming thing initially, to take this back out of here. That means taking all this pipework off and drill through and tap in some M4 bolts, which will be much better, and then start fitting this things properly for, well, the final time actually. That's the goal. Get that pipework in its place, radiator in place, fill it full of coolant. That's my goal today. Have it running with the coolant getting up to temperature, have the clutch actually working so we can check the gears. And then we'll move on to drive shafts and brakes. Possibly next video of that. But hey, it runs. Just wish my camera worked better. There we go, sort of works.